Olave. Sweet. Shout out to Chris Olave. All right. So for those of you that don't know, Chris Olave, excellent young wide receiver, formerly of Ohio State, and has been down with the New Orleans Saints for the past, was it 3 years now? Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 3 years now. 2 years, man, back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. Came out, like I said, rookie year, man, 72 catches, 1,000 yards, 1,042 yards, 4 touchdowns. Second season was 2023, where he had 1123 receiving yards, 87 receptions with 5 touchdowns as well. Last year only played in 8 games. In those 8 games, had 400 yards on 32 receptions with 1 touchdown. Okay. Now we obviously know quarterback for Saints in 2022 and 2023. Let me actually pull up just to make sure we have full confirmation. Yeah, I thought that was the Andy Dalton, though. Thought that was Dalton time frame. Yep. All right. And then let's see. Yeah, so he had Andy Dalton for a year, and then he had Derek Carr for a year. In terms of and I don't even think did he get the full year? Yes, he did get the full year of both. Okay. I was about to say, hold on, I don't even know if he got the full year of both of them dudes. But yeah, had some interesting quarterback situations down there, man. Shout out. But Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, with both of those guys, he was able to cross the 1,000-yard threshold when healthy. Like I said, last year he only had 400 receiving yards. But when you're talking about Chris Olave, 6 foot, 187 pounds, came into the NFL as the 11th overall pick. So we're talking super high pedigree. And to get back to, I forgot who specifically, ex-Constance, it might have been you, I think it was, that was bringing up Brandon Aiyuk. The reason why I think they're completely different, Olave to me is just a flat-out better player. He's more versatile. He's more athletic. He, to me, is just, like I said, he catches better. He's more explosive, runs routes better. I think with Aiyuk has the size part. I want to say Aiyuk. Let me pull him up just to get a side-by-side with those dudes. All right. Yeah, because we obviously know Aiyuk came into the league in 2020. But let's see really quickly on Aiyuk. Yeah, 6 foot 200. So I say a little bit bigger on him, man. When you think about, like I said, man, those additional, we said with Olave, 6 foot 187. So right there, you got that. But as a whole, when you're just talking about numbers, and obviously we're not just making it a numbers name because, like I said, Aiyuk came in and has a couple of seasons prior to that. Whereas also when we're talking about just where they came in at, Aiyuk into the first round, 25th overall. Whereas like we said with Olave, 11th. Pretty much top 10 pick. Now we do know 2022, 2023 was when Aiyuk did the 1,000 yards back to back, 1,015, then 1,034 or 1,342 yards. Difference to me though is this, man. Like I said, I personally feel like when we're looking at San Francisco, we know the resource that they had on that offense. We also know the architect behind that in terms of Shanahan and certain things that he was doing to make this thing go, right? And to me personally, I think that Olave as a standalone, I think is a true wide receiver one. Whereas we talked about with Brandon Aiyuk, there were questions about if he could truly come over here and be our wide receiver one, right? If we go out there and give him a ton of resources, we give him a ton of compensation out after he's playing in that San Francisco offense where he had during that time frame, especially 2022, 2023, a elite level offensive line. He had Brock Purdy playing at a crazy high level. You have Christian McCaffrey, who was the Offensive Player of the Year, a heck of a player during that time frame, cover athlete that mattered because he was balling out so hard, kind of like what you're seeing with Saquon Barkley, right? Then opposite of that, you had Deebo Samuel, you had George Kittle, and you had Kyle Juszczyk in the backfield as well. To me, I just think that he had a lot more pieces around him to make him feel, just more comfortable out there. It's kind of like the T. Higgins conversation. Is T as nice as the numbers reflect, or is that still partly due to Jamar Chase and, for a portion of his career, Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd being out there? Those are some of the questions. Whereas for me, when I think of Chris Olave, I don't look at that offense and I think of, oh, they had just all these killers out there. I think of Alvin Kamara, and we know with him in and out of the lineup due to availability, we know if we're bringing up the Michael Thomases of the world, with that availability and production looked like post-contract. So to me, I just don't think of Olave as a dude whose production had a lot of other variables at play. I look at him and say he didn't really have a ton of these, other pieces that could distract you if you're a defensive coordinator defending it. Nah, he got him, running back, and we'll see what the quarterback looked like on a week-to-week basis in terms of availability. Because 2022, 2023, how many people were taking Brock Purdy? Or excuse me, how many people were taking Andy Dalton over Brock Purdy, or even were taking Derek Carr over Brock Purdy? Heck, they were talking about Brock Purdy in MVP conversations at times. So that's the part to me where I think of Olave, and I think that he, to me, is a lot more intriguing. But there's also reasons why that's also the reason why his asking price currently is a little bit higher. When we're talking about Chris Olave, they said they reached out to the Saints. They said that the Saints basically told him a second-round pick. That's what we're starting the conversation with. And rightfully so. I mean, this is a young cat, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. The only time he hasn't went over 1,000 was when he got hurt. And then on top of that, he's a former first-round draft pick. You technically don't have to do the new contract right now. You have him for a 4th year and the 5th year option. So when you're looking at that, you're saying basically I can get 2 years guaranteed off of him without having to do a new deal. And this is a dude that's already proven to be a 1,000-yard receiver on multiple occasions with less around him. Those type of dudes typically aren't available. Now, the reason why we, reach out is because obviously you move on from George Pickens and you just question the overall direction of the Saints. Where are they going right now with Derek Carr retiring? Are they completely turning the keys to Tyler Shuck, and do they feel completely confident that Tyler Shuck makes them that relevant this year? Or do they say, let's acquire draft picks, use this year as a, stay in place type of year, and then from there they come back next year and try to make some moves? I don't know. I don't follow the Saints enough to know what their overall mindset is. But I do know for us, we're still kind of in that space of we're trying to add, we're still trying to do what we want to do now. And Chris Olave phone call to me, I like that direction. Now, if it's a second-round pick, we know we don't have a second-round pick. All right? That's just the reality of it. But we do know for next year we got 2/3. Is that something that they might be interested in? Who knows? To me, though, I'm making that call at least to kind of fill it out. Like I said, the second-round pick, I'm cool because, like I said, we don't have right now. But 2/3 or 2/3 the equivalent of 1 second, and it's 2/3 too much to give up for Chris Olave. Those are some of the things that I'm kind of like early on feeling. I still want to see what we do at quarterback, though. I think if Aaron Rodgers is here, I don't know. Am I as pressed to go send 2/3 to go get Chris Olave? I might have a little bit more patience compared to if it's just Mason, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. Maybe I'm saying, yes, let's get them the best level of resource we can because they're not bona fide force multipliers just yet. So that's kind of the way that I'm kind of back and forth on it. And with it, it's just like I said, man, I don't know all the way what I would want to do just yet because, like I said, the other thing with the Steelers in terms of their draft capital and why they wouldn't be wanting to give up a ton of stuff. And like I said, I do need to actually pull up their official picks because, like I said, I know with some of the movement they made, they got some additionals for next year. So let's get that full list real quick. Just make sure we're all the way solid. All right, don't be giving out no misinformation out here. Okay. So then we got a ton of draft picks next year. And I want to say it's what, 2/3 or 3/3? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, because we have 12 picks next year. All right. So 12 picks. Let's see those specific picks, though. If technology will cooperate. All right. Yo, why are y'all making it so difficult? Internet. Jeez Louise. Internet's supposed to just have this stuff like readily available, already listed in line. All right. Come on. Oh, okay. So here we go. They got a first. They have a second. Excuse me on that one. I did misspeak with that one. They have a first, a second, a third. The comp third is coming in there as well. 2 fourths, one being a comp. 2 fifths, one being a comp. 1 6th, and then 1 7th round. So I did misspeak on that one. I did forget about the second. We don't have this year's second. That was the DK Metcalf trade. Excuse me on that one. But to me, man, like I said, I don't hate it, man. Still call about them thirds though. Take these thirds because I know that's what I'm thinking of. Makes sense why I was thinking on the second. I'm like, why don't I think about the second? Because we're planning on moving up potentially. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need them picks. All right. So I don't want to give up too many picks, especially that first and second. I need those. But can I get you 2/3? Is 2/3 the equivalent of a second? Because I would like to have that combo. If it is, I would like that. I think that appeals to me a lot more. And I think that more importantly, man, it gives us the best of both worlds. Getting a young receiver, you still obviously would have to take care of him and give him a new contract. But on top of that, you still get the ability to move up in the draft next year, which we know will be in Pittsburgh. And we talk about some of the quarterback prospects. These are some of the guys that we would be potentially wanting to target, man, whether you're talking about, Penn State or Texas or a couple other ones out there as well, man. But like I said, definitely a good vibe with that, man. Definitely a good vibe. But yeah, for me, man, I like the Olave interest. I like the phone call, and we will see what comes from there. But shout out to the Saints, though, man. Because if I call you and I say, can I get Chris Olave? And you're like, yeah, man, take him for a fourth. I got questions. What's going on? Why is he so available? Why are you so ready to move on from him so easily also? So the fact that they're telling us a second, that's cool. Let's be there's value. We got some value around him, all right? But like I said, man, hopefully y'all are enjoying what I am on to start it today. And if that is the case, don't forget to hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel.